Shout out to the monkey gang, the great apes. At the club swinging, they asking for my singing. She peeling the banana backstage. What a feeling, what a feeling. Monkey gang chilling. What a feeling, king of the top villain.
Hey everyone, Fiction Ape here with another tier list video. You guys basically know how this goes. I've done like 3 or 2 other before, but yeah. So for the people who follow me on Instagram, you know how this is gonna work. Basically, I picked all the new gen Shonen Jump exclusively just for simplicity's sake, because I don't want to get into like 7 Deadly Sins and other stuff from other magazines that I've read. New gen manga, and from new gen I mean anything that's later than, like, released originally later than 2010. I'm not doing Dragon Ball Super or Boruto because those include characters that have been like written for 20 years plus now, so I don't think that's really fair for anyone who might ask. And these characters were picked, I picked 5 from each manga, and they were basically picked as in... Sorry, it took a while to load there. But basically, we have like main character, the few best friends, a highlight character, villain, a best girl, whatever. I let everybody who follow me on my Instagram help me pick and make this list. I hope I got most of the characters that everybody wanted to see. I'm sorry if I did not. It is what it is. And also, for those of you who don't follow my Instagram, I finally got the new mic, which is off screen right now, but hopefully the audio will be forever better in this channel and we won't have audio problems anymore like my previous early videos, which I regret not making when I had better equipment. But it is what it is. You grow and you learn as you do this YouTube thing. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Spoiler warning for I guess all of the series on the screen right now. Here, I'm gonna put them on the screen because I don't want to list them by head, otherwise I'm gonna take like 20 more seconds. But yeah, let's get right into it. This is gonna be purely subjective. In previous tier lists, I tried to like do this objective / subjective thing where, and I'm like, dude, I cannot for the life of me rate 40 different characters objectively off the top of my head and do it accurately. I have to take like so much stuff into account. So just fuck it. I'm just gonna do it how much I enjoy them and how much I particularly like each one of them in their respective universes. So for example, an S tier character here is only S tier in regards to all of these characters. So for example, just because I put someone S tier here doesn't mean they're S tier in regards of all of manga. It just means they're S tier in regards to the new gens. So without any further ado, let's get right into it, starting with Aki from Chainsaw Man, who is an... Okay, I'm gonna use Aki sort of like as a measuring stick. I'm gonna put him in B tier for now. I really like Aki, but just for the sake of having more of a notion of where everybody is going, I'm definitely gonna put him in B. After seeing everybody in, I'm gonna make adjustments to the list, so he might not stay in B, but for now, B. He's one of the better characters in Chainsaw Man, like objective. I need to stop using this word. He's one of the better written characters. He has like a lot of development. He is just cool. Got a very good send-off, like a very tragic one, but he was never my favorite. So yeah, I'm gonna put him in B. He's better than a lot of these characters, but not just quite A or S in my opinion. Asta, solid D tier. I mean, honestly, I just see him as the off-brand Naruto. A lot of people will enjoy Asta a lot. Especially with the last few chapters, he's just so uninspired to me that I can't really like fall in love with his character ever. I really hope they would do something different with him post time skip, but they haven't really done anything quite interesting with him yet, so I'm just gonna leave him in D tier. Bakugou, I'm in between A or B. Bakugou, in my opinion, is like in the same kind of level as Aki. I'm gonna put him in A for now. Again, just for the sake of like having a measuring stick for everybody. He's like, I think he's a pretty solid A tier pick. So yeah, I'm gonna leave him there just so I have a measuring stick for other characters that will come later. Byakuya. I really like Byakuya. Byakuya is my favorite Dr.Stone character. Now, yeah, actually, I'm gonna put Byakuya in A and move Bakugou down to B. I think Byakuya is a more accurate representation of what an A tier was in terms of enjoyment for me. I mean, Byakuya almost got me crying with his backstory, and like, I don't know, just his one shot was terribly emotional to me. I don't know what the fuck it was about it. It wasn't even that sad when you like stop to think about everything that happened. It's just it hit me in a different way and just made me really sympathetic and really like Byakuya a lot. So yeah, Byakuya A tier. I know a lot of people not gonna agree with that, but I just really love him. What are you gonna do about it? It's my list. Deku, C tier. Deku has gotten a lot better in the manga lately, but I just don't feel it. I don't know. I just, even though I acknowledge that there is like very good stuff there with Deku, like his development is pretty great, I just don't feel him as much as I feel other characters in the story. I just feel like everybody in My Hero outshines him, even when he's having his hype moments, like especially in the fight with Shigaraki currently. I don't feel it. I think the best thing that came out of like the last few chapters of him was that one spread of like Nana Shimura and the first user of One for All saying like about his uncontrollable and like immeasurable desire to save people. I think that shit's cool. I think that fits more with him. I don't really think him being like raw or like going like crazy or sicko mode or Hulk and shit like really fits his character. So really like as of late I haven't been the biggest fan. But Deku's nice. Deku's good. I think he might jump up to B as the tier lists go. But for now, I'm going to put him in C. He's definitely above Asta. Definitely above Asta by quite a... I feel like between B and A, the gap is much smaller than between C and D. So, yeah. Let's keep going. Denji. Very easy A tier. Possible S tier. Highly enjoyable protagonist. Very, very, very enjoyable. Like some of the most... like... realistic and down-to-earth like motivation and characteristics. I saw this one video that called him like the perfect millennial hero, and I really agree with that. Like he's just not millennial, Gen Z hero. I just think like the pure insanity of his character is just so entertaining to watch. He's not my favorite Chainsaw Man character, but he's really high up there and he's just getting better. Last chapter was amazing for him as well. So yeah, Denji. Now Emma is an easy F tier pick for me. In my opinion, Emma is one of the worst things about The Promised Neverland, and I think if any other character would have been the main character, it would have been a better manga. I just feel like Emma is what happens when you put like Naruto as the protagonist of an anime like Attack on Titan. Like there's such a dissonance between like the tone of the character and the tone of the world, and then like just the ending and how like she basically talked no jutsu's like one of the coolest characters, if not the best character in the manga, into becoming like normal and lame and like having like a normal reaction to things that you would expect, like a basic shonen reaction. So yeah, the fact that Emma actively made me annoyed about the manga and like lowered the quality of the series just by existing is enough for me to put her in F tier. I just could not stand Emma. Endeavor. Easy S tier pick. Endeavor is easily up there with probably like my top 3 favorite new gen characters. Like there's just this incredible amount of nuance, just the design, the redemption, just everything about him just pops out. I know a lot of people hate him for personal reasons. I don't know, I just think he's such a deeply like flawed character that even though you hate, you can't help but respect him. I don't hate him. I understand like the obsession. I just think he's a really cool character overall, and I really love to fucking have him in the story. It's just phenomenal. I really can't help myself but put him in S tier. It's anybody who's heard me talk about this character knows how much I fucking love him. So yeah, S tier Endeavor. Easily first S tier and like a nice measuring stick as well for the tier. Erina Nakiri. She was definitely my favorite girl in Food Wars. I really like the tsundere feel. I like the character development. The problem is I've seen Food Wars so long ago that I don't remember everything as well. I just remember like vaguely having her like as someone that I like a lot, but like wasn't really my favorite. She was just there in the middle. So I think a solid C tier. Soma's watching right now. Not Soma the character, Block Boy Soma, my buddy, my bro. And he's gonna be happy because he does not like Erina. So yeah, bro, Erina's going straight to C tier. Dedicate this one to you. And now, easily in a row, 2 S tiers right there. my two boys, my two Jujutsu Kaisen kings, my two favorite characters in the manga, Suguru Geto and Satoru Gojo. I just think these guys are phenomenal. I just did an analysis on Gojo in my YouTube, and if you guys haven't checked it out, please make sure to check it out. It's a really good video. I put a lot of work into it. And I did an analysis on Geto on my Instagram, which you should follow if you don't follow already and you're watching this video. And yeah, I just absolutely love these guys. There's just so much depth and like creativity with how they're written. Everything about them is just pretty cool. I guess I don't have a huge way to like explain them. Well, let's go individually. I just really like how Geto is basically like Magneto manga version. I already think Magneto's a really cool character, but like just his turn being like not something like some dramatic like twist or event happened. It was just like slowly starting to question his ideals, and then that just drove him into fucking madness. And just the portrayal of his depression and downfall was just spectacular. And honestly, I don't need to explain Gojo. You can watch the video if you want any explanation as to why I think Gojo is an S tier character for this list. But yeah, Inosuke. He's one that I'm really tied between C or B. I think I'm putting him in C. Yeah. Inosuke is going to C. I think Inosuke is entertaining. He's funny, especially in like season 1. But I hate the fact that he's a fucking jobber. Like, they just made him so weak for no reason. I'm gonna talk about Zanitsu later, but I wish a lot more of the of the highlight that Zenitsu went to Inosuke. But he's still very enjoyable. Yeah, I think he's a solid C tier. By the way, I'm not listing them within the tiers. Like, the order that they're in is just whatever. The only difference is between tiers. So within the tier, they're all more or less on the same level. Isabella, B tier. Actually, no, C tier as well. Isabella had a lot of potential as a villain. First arc, Isabella was like, she would have, if she stayed that consistent, she would have easily been like A or B. But the story, as with Promised Neverland, just wastes a lot of its good characters and like misuses them awfully. The final arc portrayal of Isabella is like good as well, but I don't know, I just didn't feel it. The end of the manga is just wonky to me. I just think it was a wasted potential for a really good character, but I still really enjoyed everything that happened in the first arc. The first arc of Promised Neverland is like phenomenal, so yeah. Isabella kind of helped carry that alongside Norman and Ray, so she does at least deserve a C tier. Ishiki. No. Yeah, that's Ishiki, sorry. I always confuse his name with someone else, but yeah, Ishiki from Food Wars. I think he was consistently in my top 2 or 3 favorite characters in Food Wars. Just his attitude, his like the quirkiness, his fights, his cook-offs, his shokugekis. Everything about him was just really cool and just really gave me good vibes. So I really enjoyed him. I definitely got to say I enjoyed him more than everybody in C tier, specifically as a character, when putting in perspective. But yeah, I gotta say I really, really enjoyed Nishiki. Yeah, it's hard with Food Wars because Food Wars is specifically one that I watched so long ago, and when I read it all, I just like wasn't really the most attentive person. But I remember really liking him, so he's going right into B tier, along with Joichiro. Joichiro, for those who don't remember, is Soma's dad. He was also really cool, probably the best backstory in the manga, and he just kind of fits in with that whole like Endeavor vibe, I guess. And this is not exactly, but I'm saying like the rugged up dad who's like kind of failed to hit all the potential that he wanted to have hit. And I don't know, I just really like that aesthetic of like the kind of like the fallen dad, I guess, in a sense, like how you call the trope. I don't know, but yeah, I really like Joichiro. Easy B tier as well, along with Ishiki. Julius. I really enjoyed Julius. Julius might be, because here's the problem. I need to reread Black Clover. I'm gonna acknowledge that. I need to reread Black Clover because I'm not gonna say like it, but I do shit on it a lot, and I feel like I'm forgetting a lot of the good things about it. But I remember really liking Julius, and Julius specifically had such a good fight we've licked that's just so memorable. It's probably the best moment in all of Black Clover. The reason he doesn't go into A tier, to me, is A, his revival. His revival, in my opinion, was like, that's how you ruin a perfect fucking fight, you know? Just remove the consequence. And that was what happened. So they just brought him back, like, younger. He looks less cool. He's depowered. He doesn't appear as often. So, like, for now, I think... Actually, I'm putting him in C tier. Really like Julius. If they hadn't revived him, easy B tier, possibly A tier. But, like, with everything else that came later, I guess he falls to C tier. Kohaku. See, I'm gonna put Kohaku in D tier. I don't think Kohaku's bad, but like besides having a really cool design and having like badass fights, there's not much to her. She's kind of funny. She has like the whole lioness stuff, but I just don't feel it with her. I never like thought she was a massively interesting character. I just thought she was alright, and she had a cool design, but that's about it. I don't really have much to say about her. She's just there. Dr.Stone has really hit or miss sometimes with its characters, so yeah. Kohaku easy D tier. Kurokiba, B tier as well. Kurokiba, for those who don't remember, was the guy with the split personality. It's not confirmed split personality, but basically like when he put the headband on and when he had it off, he was two different people, and he had Bakugou's voice actor. Kurokiba is basically like food Bakugou with like more quirks, and I just thought he was a really cool character with a dope fucking design. So yeah, he's solid B tier for me at least. Lewis from Seven Deadly Sins. Not Seven Deadly Sins. Promised Neverland. C tier. For those who don't remember, he was the Baron doing Goldie Pond. I thought he was probably one of the best villains in the manga. But again, same with Isabella. His appearance in the final arc was just random. They revived him. I mean, he died and they revealed that he was alive for no reason. Like, and just so he had to have like a small part to play. And I don't know, I just felt very about Lewis. So yeah, he can't get above C tier, but he was really enjoyable for one arc, so definitely don't put him in D tier. Maki. See, I'm putting Maki in A tier. A lot of people sleep on Maki, bro. Maki is the best girl in Jujutsu Kaisen. Easily. Like, her personality is dope. Everybody says that she got all the personality between her and her sister. It's awesome. She has a lot of highlight moments. Her fights are cool as fuck. I think that her having the heavenly restriction and just not being able to see curses without the glasses at all and having no curse technique is just a really cool dynamic for like people who can't have, like, who all have abilities, and she's just like, nah bro, I throw hands. Like, I just think she's dope. I honestly think if I were to say, she's probably like Rock Lee, but like fulfilled as a character, because I mean, Maki's whole thing is like, yeah bro, I'm gonna become a great sorcerer without fucking cursed energy. And Lee's thing is the same thing, but without ninjutsu. But the difference between Maki and Lee is that Maki wins the fucking fights. Because, no hate towards Rock Lee, great character, I like Guy more. But, if your whole ideology is hard work surpasses natural talent, and then you lose every fight to people who have natural talent, then you kind of just look like a bozo. And that doesn't happen with Maki. Maki throws hands. Maki throws fucking hands. And I remember there's this one specific scene where Miwa's like fighting Maki and she's like, you idiot. What do you mean this girl's weak? She is crazy strong. Like, because she's a grade 4 sorcerer, even though like she's much stronger than that. And yeah, I just think Maki's awesome. Easy A tier for me. Really, really enjoyable. Makima. S tier. Love my baby. She's probably my favorite new gen villain, along with Geto. I'd say these two are my favorite new gen villains. I don't know, there's just this crazy presence about her every time she's on screen. It's like tense, and she just has this aura about her that you kind of always keep guessing of like what's gonna happen next. And she's just been pure insanity. I think the only thing that's really gonna knock her to S tier for me is if we don't get a proper explanation about the reasoning for everything that she's doing. But so far as chapter 91, Makima's easily an S tier character for me. No doubt about it at all. Just fucking phenomenal. I love her. Momo. Momo is my favorite My Hero girl. Now, if Momo appeared more, she would have been A tier. I really like her fights. I think she has specifically one fight which she loses, unfortunately, which has probably some of the best setup for her character, like later in the war. But also, it's just one of the coolest moments in the entire series, at least for me, which is like, it's gonna appear in the season 5 anime, which is when Todoroki's talking about Momo, and she's like fighting the girl with the big fist. I forgot her name, and he's like, yeah, Momo's biggest trait, or yeah, Momo's biggest strength is like rising to the challenge, and it kind of like shows how this thing of like, no matter how big of a threat like any person is or anything is, even though she's outmatched, she'll find a way to rise to the challenge and like be able to like climb up above it. I just think she's a really cool character, and definitely B. I would put her in A if she appeared more and if she got like more highlights for herself, but so far I wouldn't say she's above Bakugou by that much that she would change a tier, so I would put her in B tier, I'd say. Muzan, F tier. I was gonna make a Muzan tier below F tier, but I was like, nah, that's not gonna be as funny as it sounds in my head. But yeah, Muzan's garbage. He, like Emma, actively made Demon Slayer worse. Probably the most upsetting and underwhelming final villain in a story ever. And when your entire story builds up to a confrontation to a final boss, and the final boss is just fucking trash and less interesting than all his minions, then you kind of failed as a character yourself, and you're kind of ass. So definitely putting Muzan in F tier. Don't get me wrong, I think Emma's pretty much better than Muzan by a lot, but I just think Muzan is F tier, and that doesn't make Emma not be F tier. So yeah. Noel, D tier. I just don't feel Noel. I don't get why people think Noel is that great. Like, her development is, and her arc in general, is pretty much just Rukia again from Bleach, which is like her brother doesn't acknowledge her, and then he comes to acknowledge her, and she's like a tsundere, and like she gets strong and she wins fights. I feel like most of the reason why a lot of people like her is just because she wins fights. I don't see the development that people say that she has. It's like, yeah, bro, she went from not being accepted by her brother to being accepted by her brother, and like wanting to get strong and fighting stronger people. It's like, it's always just being stronger ends up what her character is. And she pretty much only has like 2 moods, which is Asta, you baka, or I'm fighting, or I'm feeling insecure. I don't know, I don't feel Noel as a character. I highly disagree when people tell me she's the best character, like best female character in Jump. I don't think she even is the best female character in Black Clover. Sorry, someone was knocking in my door, and I kind of lost the track of what I was saying with Gray. But yeah, let's continue. So for Norman, definitely A tier, I want to say. And now that I saw the other A tier characters, I'm moving Bakugou up to A tier as well. Norman, basically, for like this one short stretch, was just the best character by far in Seven Deadly Sins. No, not Seven. I don't know why I called The Promised Neverland Seven Deadly Sins. He just had this presence to him. He was so awesome, so mysterious. I don't know what to say. He was like, had interesting character dynamics. Just everything about him was cool. First arc, Norman was also amazing, so he got pretty good development. He was just consistently good throughout the story. And now that I remembered how the story ends for Norman, he gets downgraded to B tier. Even though I was talking so good about him, it's just, I did mention Emma talking to Jutsu someone into becoming a less interesting character. That was Norman. And I realized that he does not fit with the rest of the A tiers. He almost got A tier. He was there for a second until I remembered how Emma ruins everything. And yeah, sorry, I love Norman, but he's going into B tier only. And now I'm moving Deku to B tier, just because I enjoy him more than everyone in C tier, and also move Bakugou up. So yeah, I think Deku deserves to be along these guys. But yeah, and I also think I'm gonna move No, no movie anyone yet. Yeah. Patri. See, he's going in don't remember. I made this column specifically for him. The thing with Patri, I don't remember enough about him to give an opinion because I vaguely remember his backstory, but the L4 just feels like such a like fuzzy memory in my mind that I can't really comfortably put him anywhere. He's the biggest reason I want to reread Black Clover. Him and William, I just want to remember everything about them because he seems like he's a good, cool character, but I don't remember enough to make any judgment. So I'm just gonna, instead of like misplacing him and putting him somewhere wrong, I'm just gonna put him in don't remember tier. Power, easy C tier. A lot of people love Power. I think Power is funny as fuck, but that's just about it. She's just funny, and she had like a really good chapter with Denji recently, but also like a while back. Just really good development. But yeah, she never got that high up for me in enjoyment, and I did like Aki, Makima, and Denji more. So I think C tier for Power is pretty fair. Ray. See, Ray would get F tier, but first arc Ray was awesome. So if you watch the anime, you're probably confused as hell about why Ray is so low. And one shot Ray, so like there was a one shot that came out recently that was just about Ray, was also phenomenal. But Ray after arc 1, after they escape from the farm, just becomes like this exposition machine and this like skepticism machine who gets like no characterization whatsoever. He like every moment that's supposed to be like important or good for him just gets given to someone else, especially when his mom dies and then it's an Emma moment instead of a Ray moment. I just think they completely blew it on his character. He was very interesting. He like high potential to be one of the best characters in the manga, but just like got messed up at the end. I don't know what the hell happened with that, but yeah, Ray is D tier. He isn't F tier because he didn't make the manga actively worse just by existing, and he also was like pretty good for an arc. So yeah, Ray gets D tier. Reze. Was also never a huge fan of Reze. I always liked Makima more. So yeah, she's going to C tier. She's like similar thing to Power. Thought she was cool for an arc, but you know, never really too much of a highlight character for me in between the Chainsaw Man characters. Ryusui. Easy B tier. He was one of my favorite Dr.Stone characters. Love his whole desire ideology. I think it's very like admirable. I think he's quirky, he's cool, like his design. He comes with the best girl / guy in the series because apparently Francois is either a guy or a girl and it's not really confirmed. But yeah, I just think he's awesome. I really like Ryusui. Doesn't quite make the cut into A tier, but he's pretty great. Really like him. Senko. I'm gonna put Senko in D tier. Aside from Senko being like smart and having like a few cool moments where he like talks about like the optimism and the greed of science and shit, I just don't think he's very standout. I think like Senko's just really smart and that's it to him. Like he's a protagonist that fits Dr. Stone, but he was never someone that like really caught my eye as a character. So yeah, I think you're just gonna leave him in D tier, especially because I can feel like everybody around him is kind of like not everybody. It's kind of more interesting in general because like he's so, in a sense, like two-dimensional with how he thinks and what he wants that it kind of gets hard to be like a huge Senku fan. But he does have some hype moments. I will give him that. Shigaraki, easy S tier as well. Yeah, the main villain of My Hero gets some crazy development, some crazy cool moments. Has been going hard in the war arc. The only way I see him going down to A is if like he gets like Talk no Jutsu'd at the end or like loses his body to All for One, which I don't think either will happen. So yeah, I think so far Shigaraki is an easy S tier character for the new gens. Just really great way to do a villain, like a villain literally going from zero to hero, which I think is something cool and doesn't happen very often. Not zero to hero, but zero to villain, and coming from the bottom up and becoming like this monster slowly as the story progresses and developing right alongside the hero with some similar story beats. I think it was really well executed character by Horikoshi. So yeah, really appreciate Shigaraki. And now for my favorite Demon Slayer character, Shinobu. Shinobu doesn't quite make it into A tier, But I really like her. I did a character analysis on her on my Instagram, which you should check it out if you haven't yet. But yeah, I think she's like probably the most believable and human character in all of Demon Slayer. She has like very wide range of like emotions that are believable. Her motivation is pretty cool. Her backstory, especially in the anime, when you get to hear that she copied her sister's voice after she died, is just really cool. The facade she puts over with the anger. She has like the coolest fucking fighting style out of all the Demon Slayers, in my opinion. And like just the whole like design, everything about her just nice and cool, and it fits. So yeah, I would definitely put her in B tier. I thought about putting her in A tier, but I don't think I like her as much as I like all the other characters in A tier. So yeah, she gets B tier. Tsukasa. Really liked Tsukasa when he was the villain. Thought he had more potential, but after he became a hero, he kind of like got faded into the back as a character. He also got Taku no Jutsu. I definitely think he's better than everybody in D tier by a large margin, but he's not that much better. So yeah, I'm gonna put him in C tier. Now Soma, I'm either putting him in high C tier or low B. I always like these three more than him, and I like him more than I like Erina. So if I could pick, I would put like him in a C plus or B minus tier of his own. But yeah, I'm gonna put C. I don't like Soma as much as I like the guys in B tier, but I also thought Soma was very like enjoyable as a character and a good protagonist for Food Wars. He fit Food Wars really well, but he never like stood out to me as one of my favorites in Shokugeki itself. I think these three were definitely my favorites. So yeah, Soma is gonna go into C tier. Sorry, Santos, don't kill me. Sukuna, easy A tier for me. Easy A tier. He doesn't quite reach the S tiers yet, but he's very, very, very fucking evil and compelling. And I don't know, there's just a thing about like the sheer madness and rawness of Sukuna as a character that just really clicks for me. I don't know what it is. It just, he's great. He's fucking great. Like, his abilities are cool. His demeanor's cool. He's like probably the best possession villain ever. Like, I think he's much better done than like the Nine Tails. I think he's much better done than like Asta's Demon, Ichigo's Hollow, you name it. I think he's the best inner demon, which actually portrays as the character being fucking cursed and you knowing that they're fucked. Like, he's not your friend. He has his own agenda. He's trying to ruin Yuji's life. I just think he's massively interesting. All his fights are cool as fuck. His final interaction with Jogo was phenomenal. I just really like Sukuna, and yeah, he has potential to go up to S tier because I think I like him more than all the other A tiers. But so far, I'm just gonna leave him in A tier because I don't think he reaches the level of any of the S tiers yet. Tanjiro. Now, contrary to popular belief, I'm not putting him F. I'm gonna put him C, and this might be surprising because a lot of people know that I slander Demon Slayer a lot. I don't think Tanjiro's awful. In my opinion, the thing that most annoys me with him is like all the ass pulls. But as a character, he was enjoyable. You know, like the kindness thing. Although it had been done, the way he does it is very different, I guess. I don't know. Like, he has some good moments. I definitely think he's better than everybody in D tier. And a lot of people might shit on me for saying Tanjiro's better than Asta. I just think Tanjiro's like more believably a human being and has more dimensions than Asta as a character. Don't get me wrong, they're pretty comparable still, like in quality. But I do think like Tanjiro is definitely above. So yeah, Tanjiro's in C tier. Especially because like I don't want to put Tanjiro with some other characters that I definitely find like very meh. Because Tanjiro had moments that I was like, oh, okay, it's a fucking cool moment. I think especially the moment I remember most of being like, god damn, okay, Tanjiro looking cool, is when Tanjiro first wakes up after getting his DNA spliced by Muzan, and like he just looks like a fucking monster. And I thought that looked cool, even though the official translation is worse than the translations. It was just pretty cool. Yuji. Yuji's a pretty solid B tier with potential for A tier and potential for even S tier. Really enjoy his character, and even though he has like really good development and like just very good like writing put into him with the whole like him basically being like a hypocrite and like lying to himself a lot of the time and like rationalizing things, he's not as interesting or unique to me as like the other characters above him. He's definitely high B tier, but not quite there on the A tier front. So yeah, definitely gonna put him here. He has definitely potential to go much higher in the list, but so far I'm gonna play it safe and put him here. I'm gonna put him in D tier. I don't think he's as bad as the F tier characters. A lot of people fucking hate Yuno and would definitely put him in D tier. I think Yuno, even though he's bland, he at least has some funny moments, and he plays on the fact that you expect him to be a Sasuke clone, and he like overtly doesn't act like Sasuke. So I think at least that aspect of him of like being subversive in that sense is enjoyable, I guess, to a degree. But yeah, I'm not really fond of putting him any higher on the list, cause nah. And now that I've seen more people in the list, I'm definitely gonna move Asta to no, never mind. Asta, you're staying in D. But I do want to move Soma to B. Do I? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm gonna move some people to B. Soma and Power, definitely moving up to B. I think Julius as well. Yeah, I did a really big move over from C to B because he had a lot of characters, but I don't know, I think... Okay, let me just place Zanitsu and then I'll shuffle around my list. And everybody knows I fucking hate Zanitsu. Fucking hate him. God. And a lot of Zenitsu's moments, like, at least to me, actively made the manga worse. Zenitsu, easy F tier. I don't know, I just found his personality annoying. I thought a lot of his, like, appearances compromised, like, emotional stakes in any scene. He's just fucking unbearable for me. And the one time that he acts fucking human in the entire series, in my opinion, like an actual person, he just reverts like minutes later and becomes the same annoying shit that he was before. And a lot of people's like, oh, but there's the cool thing about him like closing his eyes and he goes hard. And I'm like, bro, that was just the most predictable fighting pattern ever. Basically everything that happened is like, oh wow, Zenitsu's hiding and he's afraid, and then he falls asleep and he one-shots. And that works for like all of his fights besides like 3 of them. So yeah, I just didn't like Zenitsu, and every time he was on screen, he like actively made things worse. So he definitely goes to F tier. I'm gonna do a final checkup on everything and see if everything is in place. And so far, everything seems right to me. I'm moving Julius back to B. I'm flirting with the idea of moving Asta to C. But you know what? I think I'm flirting with the idea of moving Asta to C because I think him and Tanjiro should be in the same tier. So you know what? I actually think Tanjiro goes to D. Even though I was giving a whole speech as to why he's C. Because I do think I like these characters all a lot more than I like Tanjiro. And I think Asta and Tanjiro are pretty comparable. So yeah, I think this is my final tier list. Again, this is done off the top of my head. Don't be an asshole about it. If you disagree, just drop your list as to why you disagree. And yeah, this was the tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I was just trying to drop a quick video out to like just fill the channel with more videos, I guess, in a sense, and I really wanted to try out the new mic. Yeah, so this was just a quick filler video, I guess, in a sense, and also a tier list video because I hadn't done one in a while. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please, if I'll leave the link to the tier list below, so like DM those to me on Instagram. Tell me how you feel about it. Tell me how you feel about mine. I hope it's not wildly like different from what people would expect. And again, remember, this is one based on enjoyment. I do not claim any objectivity to this whatsoever, because that would be a fucking headache to discuss every single character objectively. And this video was already long enough as it is. This whole recording was like over an hour already. And yeah, I will catch you guys next time. And Fiction Ape out the gate. Peace. Yeah, I said peace and I winked and shit, but yeah, don't forget to subscribe and comment and share the video. This is awkward. Fiction Ape out the gate. When I look